Welcome back to Kinshasa today, everyone. Great to have you with us for episode 4.
Good to be here.
This week, we're diving deep into some really significant news affecting us right here in Kinshasa, based on the reports you've been sharing.
That's right. We're talking about the recent floods, the aftermath, and also looking at some bigger picture stuff, infrastructure, sanitation, the government's plans.
Exactly. It's a lot, and it's serious. So we want to try and, unpack it all, connect some of those dots.
See how it all fits together and what it might mean going forward.
Okay, so let's start with the most immediate crisis, those terrible floods around April 5th. The reports you sent were just heartbreaking.
Yeah, really difficult to read. The official numbers we have now, 43 people confirmed deceased.
Awful. Just awful.
And over 2,000 people designated as sinistres.
Yeah.
Disaster victims.
That term really hits home, doesn't it? These are families, neighbors who've lost, well, everything in many cases.
Absolutely. Their homes, their belongings. It's a devastating blow.
And we know the government has set up some temporary shelters, right?
Yes, that's been a key part of the immediate response. People are being housed at Stade Tata Raphael, also Ecole Lumumba, and there's a site in Kimwenza as well.
Okay. So some immediate relief is there.
It is. And it's vital, of course. But, it's temporary shelter. The bigger question is what happens next for these thousands of people.
Right. Long road ahead for them. Which brings us to the government's response on maybe a more structural level. The Prime Minister, Judith Suminwa, she's been summoned to the National Assembly.
Yes, that's scheduled for Tuesday, April 15th. It's an important step, definitely.
And there was some clarification about the nature of this summons. It's not an interpellation.
Right. Vidal Camara made that point. An interpellation is more formal, often more confrontational. It can even lead to a no-confidence vote sometimes.
Okay.
So framing it as an invitation to explain suggests, well, maybe a less adversarial setting. But still, it's a chance for accountability.
So the goal is for her to lay out the plan. Short, medium, long term.
Exactly. The expectation is she'll present the government's whole humanitarian strategy. What are they doing now for relief? What's the plan for rebuilding in the coming months? And crucially, what are the long-term measures to hopefully prevent this scale of disaster again, or at least lessen the impact?
It's a chance for the Assembly, and for us, really, to hear that strategy directly.
And to understand the thinking behind it.
And alongside the government's actions, we also saw a call from the RFLAF, the Réseau des Femmes Leaders Africaines.
Yes, the African Women Leaders Network. They issued a really important call focusing specifically on the women and children made homeless by the floods.
Highlighting their particular vulnerability in this kind of crisis.
Precisely. They're calling for urgent, targeted support. Because, as we know, women and children often face unique risks and challenges in the aftermath of disasters. Displacement, lack of security, access to specific health needs.
It's crucial their voices are heard and their needs are specifically addressed in the response.
Absolutely vital for an equitable response.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly, but stay on the theme of planning. President Tshisekedi himself called for a clearer disaster management plan, didn't he?
He did. Following these floods, the call came from the president for the government to really define a comprehensive strategy for managing disasters overall.
That feels significant. A directive from the top.
It suggests, hopefully, a move towards being more proactive, less just reacting when disaster strikes and more about having robust systems and plans in place beforehand. Preparation.
Which connects to what's happening at the city level. Governor Daniel Bumba has been talking about urban sanitation. That caught my eye because, well, it's a huge issue for us here.
It really is. And his vision is quite interesting. He's framing sanitation not just as a problem to be solved, but as a potential driver for development.
How so? Like moving beyond just waste collection?
Yeah, exactly. He's talking about making sanitation a driver for sustainable development, creating jobs, green growth. He called it a health, environmental, and social emergency for Kinshasa's, 20 million residents?
Wow. So the idea is to build a whole system.
Seems like it. An integrated system for managing urban waste. Everything from collection, treatment, recycling, and, this is key, valorization. Finding ways to turn waste into something valuable.
Creating value from waste. Like a circular economy approach.
Sort of, yeah. It's about seeing waste not just as something to get rid of, but potentially as a resource. And this isn't just talk. It's meant to be a central part of the provincial government's action plan for the next few years, 2024 to 2028.
Aligning with the national goals, too, to make Kinshasa a showcase of change.
Right. That suggests potential support from the national level, which would be crucial for something this ambitious.
It sounds like a massive undertaking. How do they plan to involve, like, businesses and ordinary people?
Well, the plan mentions engaging businesses, encouraging them to adopt more responsible, sustainable practices, and importantly, involving young people. Maybe through education, maybe creating actual green jobs in this new waste management sector.
Getting everyone involved. Community buy-in.
Which is usually essential for these things to actually work on the ground, isn't it?
Definitely. And there's international interest, too, the Netherlands.
Yes, the Netherlands has apparently pledged to help mobilize partners to support this vision, aiming for zero waste.
Zero waste. That's ambitious.
Very. But the fact that you had representatives from the UN, Global Compact, the PM's office, national ministries, the provincial environment minister,
Yeah.
all in discussion with the governor, that suggests a broad coalition might be forming.
That kind of coordinated effort, that could make a real difference if it holds together.
It could. Fingers crossed on that one.
Okay, but then we have the harsh reality check. The Lukaya bridge collapse. That really hit hard after the rains.
It really did. Happened on Friday, April 11th. A big section of the bridge connecting Mungoua and Kinsenso communes just gone.
And that bridge was vital, wasn't it, for that whole southwest area of the city?
Absolutely. 100 meters long, a key route for transport, for getting goods around, for people just getting to work or school. Its collapse has had a massive immediate impact.
The reports mention people trying to cross using makeshift ladders and paying people to help them across the rocks.
Yeah, really dangerous situations. People are desperate to get across, and some are apparently exploiting that, charging fees to help navigate the submerged rocks or use rickety ladders. Well, it's appalling, frankly.
That's awful. And beyond the immediate danger, the whole area is affected.
Completely. Local economy basically shut down in parts. Neighborhoods are cut off. Accessing basic services, clinics, markets becomes incredibly difficult. You can understand why residents are so angry and anxious, demanding the bridge be rebuilt urgently.
Of course. It's not just inconvenience, it's livelihoods, it's safety.
Exactly. And this collapse, it feels like, a symptom of a much bigger problem.
The vulnerability of our infrastructure.
Yeah.
Especially with these heavier rains, more frequent storms.
Precisely. The sources point this out clearly. Our transport infrastructure, our drainage systems, a lot of it is old or just wasn't designed for the kind of population density and, frankly, the kind of weather events we're seeing now.
Driven by climate change.
Undeniably. More intense rainfall, more frequent extreme weather. Our existing infrastructure often just can't cope. It's a problem experts have warned about for a long time here in Kinshasa, with the rapid growth and environmental changes.
So this bridge collapse is like a physical manifestation of those warnings.
A very stark and dangerous one, yes.
So what's the long-term solution? Just rebuilding the bridge isn't enough, is it?
No, the focus has to be on resilience. Investing in infrastructure that can actually withstand these climate shocks. That means modernizing drainage, yes, but also building bridges, roads, buildings to higher standards. Strengthening early warning systems, too, so people have time to prepare or evacuate.
But that takes serious money and time.
Huge investment, yeah, and sustained commitment. These aren't quick fixes. It requires long-term planning and significant funding.
One report called the Lukaya Bridge collapse a cry of alarm.
That phrase really stuck with me, too. A cry of alarm for infrastructure across the DRC and clear evidence of the climate emergency we're facing right now.
It feels like such a direct hit, a tangible consequence.
It is. It shows how these big issues, climate change, infrastructure deficits, directly impact ordinary people's lives, their safety, their ability to function day to day. It's a wake-up call.
Okay, so let's try and pull these threads together. We've got the immediate flood disaster, the plans for sanitation improvement, and this infrastructure vulnerability highlighted by the bridge. How do they all connect?
Well, they're deeply interconnected, aren't they? The floods happen, or are certainly made much worse, because the drainage and sanitation infrastructure can't handle the water, blocked drains, inadequate systems.
Right.
So Governor Bamba's sanitation plan, if successful, could directly help mitigate future flooding by improving how water flows through the city.
Makes sense.
And the bridge collapse shows that it's not just about drainage. Our transport infrastructure, maybe other critical systems too, are fragile in the face of these extreme weather events, which are becoming more common.
So improving sanitation helps with floods, But we also need stronger bridges, roads, maybe power grids.
Exactly. It all points to the need for a much more comprehensive, resilient approach to how we build and maintain the city. It's all part of the same challenge, adapting Kinshasa to the realities of the 21st century, including rapid growth and climate change.
And none of this is abstract. It hits us all, every day. Our safety, getting around, the economy, our health.
Totally. Can you get to work? Can kids get to school safely? Can goods reach the markets? Are we breathing clean air, drinking clean water? Is our neighborhood likely to flood next time it pours? These are the fundamental questions tied up in all this.
So we need that immediate help for the flood victims, obviously, but also this sustained long-term investment and planning is just critical.
Both are essential. You can't ignore the immediate suffering, but you also can't ignore the underlying issues that keep causing these crises.
So listening to all this, it paints a picture, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
A city facing real hardship right now, immense challenges.
Yeah.
But also, there's discussion, there are plans being put forward, people are looking for solutions.
Yeah, the next few weeks feel important. Seeing what comes out of the Prime Minister's session with the National Assembly, how the Governor's Sanitation Initiative progresses, these could be quite telling for the direction Kinshasa takes.
It really underscores how tackling disaster response, building better infrastructure, and managing our environment are all linked. The city's resilience, our well-being, it depends on getting this right.
Mm-hmm. We hope this deep dive has helped clarify some of what's happening and why it matters so much. It definitely raises questions, though. What steps do you think are the most urgent right now? What does this make you wonder about Kinshasa's future?
Good questions to keep thinking about and talking about in our communities. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll be back next time on Kinshasa Today.